Also, I don't need one. I don't need a new interface right now. You know how much I'm out here talking to people. That's all I'm doing is this podcast. I'm not singing. I'm not recording music. I should be recording music, but I'm not. So yeah, you know what?
Because you're a chump.
Wow. That wasn't very nice.
Chris?
I said you're a chump.
Record a song right now.
Do it. You won't.
Say I won't.
You won't. And that is how we motivate our friends.
Why that sound better than your microphone?
I could go for some blues.
This is the Always More podcast.
Hello, it is February 19th, and welcome to the Always More podcast, where we believe there is always more room at the table for honest questions, meaningful conversations, and deeper understanding. Today on the pod, we are discussing Black History Month and the heroes involved, Valentine's Day origins, music, performances, and so much more. But first, I am your host, your Virgo planning and university extraordinaire, Tim, and sitting next to me is my best friend in the whole entire world and zombie apocalypse survival expert, Chris.
Hey.
Also joining us is our yeehaw girl in the Kansas world, Harley.
Howdy.
Also, we have the guy who puts the sin in Wisconsin and long haul trucker, Justin.
Hi.
There's always a delay.
He's setting a timer, I swear, and he's like delaying it every single time.
It feels like he's a newscaster.
He's got. I feel like I have to use his now.
He's got the millennial pause. He can't help it.
It feels like he's a news reporter. Where it's like, back to you, Tom. Hey, thanks, Sandy.
And then also, before we move along, the woman the alternative was based upon Janelle.
I was going to use Justin's, but I won't. Hi.
Yeah, like, Justin, are you setting a timer? Like, I swear it's getting, like, delayed like by half a second every time we record an episode.
I don't know, man. It just is. I just feel it.
He's doing it on purpose.
I think so.
It's actually every response. It really is like a newscast.
It's so funny. Like, Harley, you bring up like the millennial pause, and maybe it's just because I've worked with like video editing, but it's like just crop your video. Like, just crop your video. Oh man, how's everyone doing tonight?
Vibing.
We're okay.
Surviving.
Surviving.
Oh no.
I still have so much to do.
We're recording a little bit late tonight, so we're going to see how we're going to feel by the end of this episode.
I'm sorry.
It's not anyone's fault. It's fine.
It's kind of my fault.
It's okay. We're all here together. No one's mad.
I feel like you guys are mad. You sure
I'm not mad. I'm not. Do I look mad?
A little bit.
I'm not mad.
You always look mad.
You
though.
did ignore me when I walked in.
I'm sorry. I was actually really focused and trying to get something done, but I was not mad. I promise.
Harley, are you mad?
Baby.
Circle it back.
All right. Well, hey, guys, we got a fun episode for y'all today. Episode 2 of Season 5. Welcome back. We got a good one for y'all today. We got a lot of things to cover, so let's just get right into it. Guys, let's get into our little Rec and Rev. This is the part of the show where we let you recommend and review some items. Chris, you're up first.
So my Rec and Rev is probably going to be one of the... And it's weird to say this, but one of the weirder Rec and Revs that I've done.
When is it not?
This one's a little more weird than anticipated. However, it is the #1 anime of 2024, if I'm not mistaken. It's a 12-episode season 1. Pretty solid anime, great animation. It's real fun. It's called Dandadan.
Okay.
And if you know about anime, you know that it's really freaking weird. It is 16 plus for sexual violence, smoking, suggestive dialogue, and then regular violence. I'll just read you the synopsis. When high schooler Momo, from a family of spirit mediums, first meets her classmate Okarun, an occult geek, they argue. Momo believes in ghosts, but denies aliens. Okarun believes in aliens, but denies ghosts. When it turns out both phenomena are real, Momo awakens a hidden power, and Okarun gains the power of a curse. Together, they must challenge the paranormal forces threatening their world. So it's ghosts versus aliens versus humans. But the whole inciting incident of the show is that Okarun loses his penis. A ghost takes it from him. His penis and his balls. They're just gone.
I also just would like to point out that
like
that is not
down
an
there.
original concept.
You said it's not an original concept?
Nope.
You know, I don't want to ask any more questions. I'm not going to ask
I'm
any more
interested. Where's it come from, Justin?
No, I'm saying it's happened in other things before, but we'll circle back to that some other time offline.
Well, this is one that I can recommend on this podcast.
I just wanted to point out that the theme song for season 1, yes, Creepy Nuts, who also did the one for Mashal as well.
Bring bung bung bring bung bung bring bung.
Yes,
bung,
that catchiness that ruined my life for like 6 months. It's great. I love it. Same for Dan to Dan. Just Google it. Just listen to it. And then you're going to be like, it's in my head for the next 8 months and it's catchy and you're going to just be singing it randomly under your breath at work.
No, for sure. Because I was doing that literally today. We had a guy come in who needed fingerprints. His name was Dan. And all I could hear in my head was dun 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 dun.
I like to point out, I'm over here a lot, and I hear this quite a bit, so I can only imagine what it's like for Nell.
It's even better when your 5-year-old also likes the theme song. Not of this anime specifically, but the other one.
No, the one for Mashal.
The other one.
Bling bong bong.
Yeah, she sings it a lot. And it's really cute.
It is cute.
I listen to it a lot.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's a weird show, but it's great. It's funny. It still has all the same things you would expect from an anime, shonen style anime. You know, it's got the protagonist with superpowers. It's got the love interest. It's got a pretty cool storyline, supportive friends, the old crotchety person that's super powerful for no reason. It's good stuff. Check it out.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Justin, you're up next, good sir.
I have not really consumed very much media since our last episode, surprisingly. So my recommendation is not even an album, just a song, just one. It is called Cube.
Sorry,
you can just edit that out. You can edit that part out.
All right.
Is that by Gojira?
Little I'm getting over some weird congestion shenanigans. All right. Okay. Yeah. So it's a song. It's called Kubrick Stare, as I stutter over that. Kubrick Stare by Stray from the Path. With everything going on in the world, and by the world, I mean the U.S., because, you know, the U.S. is the world, right? American exceptionalism. Yay. With everything going on in America, it is a very well-timed song to just kind of express the frustrations that a lot of us are feeling in a very aggressive manner.
So I should add it to my playlist. Hating it here is a personality trait at this point. Right?
Yeah. You can also go
great.
through their whole playlist, through their whole discography. They have such great song titles as Negative and Violent, and Alt-Right Goodnight. There's a few that will just fit that theme pretty well.
Good.
But we're not talking about politics yet.
I'm collecting
gonna leave it there.
all of those songs for the playlist to the revolution.
There we go. Sounds good. Harley, you're up next.
So mine is a book, and it's called Wash Day Diaries by Jamila Rouser. It's a graphic novel. I actually read it back in. Oh, when did I read this? I think it's pretty recently.
Yeah, recently.
Anyways, Wash Day Diaries tells the story of 4 best friends, Kim, Tanisha, Davine, and Cookie, through 5 connected short story comics that follow these young women through the ups and downs of their daily lives in the Bronx. The book takes its title from the Wash Day experience shared by Black women everywhere of setting aside all plans and responsibilities for a full day of washing, conditioning, and nourishing their hair. Each short story uses hair routines as a window into these 4 characters' everyday lives and how they care for each other. I did kind of a small review of this on my spam account, which nobody follow. You're not allowed. Only the people in this immediate group are allowed. But anyways, and the way I explained it on there was not nearly as eloquent as the descriptions on the internet tend to be. So I figured I would just use that as a better way of explaining the book. But it was so good. It was a pretty short read. It took me only, because it's just a graphic novel. It took me probably half an hour, but the art style in it is just so good and beautiful. 12 out of 10. Loved it. And just the way that the story was kind of organized on the pages and through the comics, because it also incorporated text message threads and just it was just so cute. And I really loved the community that the girls shared with one another. They were so wholesome and so supportive, and it was so cute. But I thought, since it's Black History Month, I should recommend a book by a Black author, especially by a Black woman. So I period.
You actually checked that book out on the first day of Black History Month.
Oh, hell yeah. Go me.
Way to make Justin and I look bad.
Well, and me too. Actually, my second one could be tied in, but
change it now.
It's really good. If you're interested in comic style books, I don't usually read graphic novels, but I saw that one on some kind of it was one of the digital resources we have available through my library, and it was it just recommends you books essentially, and how they are read and different types of topics they fit into, and that was one of them. And I was like, yes, gimme. But it was so good.
Can I find it at my public library, do you think?
Probably. What English? I shall search.
I shall try.
Can he find it at the Harker Heights Library? That's the question.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I'll look for that.
What a great book to be looking for.
It would be a good book to be looking for. A really good what's it we're looking for? Like a litmus test.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, continue.
I shall. All right, guys. I got a twofer for y'all today. I'll keep it short. My first one is a movie that I actually saw at the beginning of the year called A Complete Unknown. Any Bob Dylan fans in here?
Moderate, so.
No. Justin says no. Harley says no. And Chris says moderately. New York, early 1960s, against the backdrop of a vibrant music scene and a crazy cultural upheaval, a enigmatic 19-year-old from Minnesota arrives in the West Village with his guitar and revolutionary talent, destined to change the course of American music. It's got Timothy Chalamet. It's got Edward Norton. Is it Elle Fanning? Elle Fanning?
Elle Fanning.
Elle Fanning.
Monica Barbaro. Anyways, it's really good. It's really only about the first few years of his career, so 61 to 65-ish, and kind of how he first was, he rose to popularity through his folk music and through his, more popular songs, but then was kind of pushing up against the culture and pushing up against what he was known for. It's really a film about breaking up against people's expectations for you and really kind of going against the grind and standing up for yourself and learning how to navigate respecting where you've come from but wanting to move forward with who you want to be. And so I really enjoyed it. And Timothy Chalamet did a really great job.
I think it's crazy to make movies about people that are still alive like that.
Well, Bob Dylan's got 5 films about him. This is not the first.
Yeah.
It's crazy how many films.
That's weird.
Yeah, and what's really amazing about this film, it was originally supposed to come out early 2020s, but because of COVID and everything, it delayed it. And so it actually gave Timothy a lot more time to practice. And so most of the scenes where he's singing, it's live. Usually when they record the movie, they shoot the shots, but they record over it or vice versa. In this case, it was most of it just live. He was performing the guitar and singing along and everything. And so it's really impressive, actually.
Could you imagine if Bob Dylan saw it and just hated it?
He actually liked it.
Yeah, but imagine if he didn't.
You suck.
Boo.
And then another musical tie-in. My second one of the night. Defiant Jazz.
Ooh.
If you have watched Severance, you will know this reference. Hartley, do you understand this reference?
Is that when
Yes.
they okay.
The party scene that leads yeah. That scene. Guys, I love jazz. If you don't know this about me, I was in high school, I was in jazz band. It's just
nerd.
Yes, and I went on jazz tours with the high school band. We went
perhaps the best band to be a part of.
Genuinely,
the best part of band.
Thank you for saying that, Harley. I didn't want to say it out loud, but yes, it's true. And I pride myself in that because I was very competitive. That was the most competitive thing in my life, to be quite honest. But anyways, but yeah, I enjoy jazz. But this scene in Severance, it just reminded me of kind of some more. Because there's different types of jazz, there's different types of genres, different types of vibes, and Defiant Jazz is exactly what it sounds like. It's very almost chaotic, and it's disruptive, and it's meant to be against the grind. And so 2 songs, if you're curious, Shaky Jake by Joe McPhee. It's actually the song in Severance. It's chaotic, it sounds crazy, but it's a incredible listen. And then Yes I Can, No You Can't by Lee Morgan, another one that I was listening to randomly in the car today that I would highly recommend. So if you need some good jazz music in your life that's Defiant, go check it out. Janelle, you're next.
Solid.
I'm next. Okay. My Rec and Rev for this week is a TV show. It's a Netflix series with only 6 episodes. I'm not sure if they're going to do a season 2. Did you look that up?
I did not look it up.
Okay. It's called American Primeval. It's a Western set in 1857.
We're really into Westerns right now.
Are we? Is that a theme?
I think so.
Oh, yeah, it is.
We've watched like 6 of them.
Oh,
Yeah,
like 1922
right.
and all that.
Yeah. Okay, so American Primeval is an American Western television miniseries created and written by Mark L. Smith and directed by Peter Berg, starring Taylor Kitsch and Betty Gilpin. This series is set in 1857 during the Utah War. It was released on January 9th, 2025 on Netflix. Okay, fun fact about me, I don't watch new TV shows. I want all the seasons to be out and ready to go. I don't want to wait. So I watched this.
I don't want to wait.
I watched this on accident, thinking it was 10 years old. And it came out this year. The premise, set in 1857 during the Utah War, the series examines the fight to gain control of the American West and the violent clash between the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, LDS Church, and cultures in the Utah Territory, centering the events surrounding the Mountain Meadows Massacre. So for those who don't know, the Utah has a very violent history in trying to take over that territory. They were pretending to be natives and causing a lot of problems for the native communities and killing people and shit.
Yeah.
And this show goes into a lot of that and how the tribes were pushed further and further and further from the white settlements to ensure, and I'm saying in quotes, that there wouldn't be any more attacks. But it wasn't the natives. It was the Mormon Church.
Mm-hmm.
We're also really into Mormons lately.
Same.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
it's a weird thing. And before you continue on, I'd like to point out too, my history professor in my summer semester, he actually just came out with a book. He's like a Mormon, called American Zionist or something along those lines, and it's actually I think about the same period of time, if I'm not mistaken.
Young.
Well, yeah, I mean it's all of that, and so it's very interesting that it's kind of like there's a lot of shows and entertainment and media that's kind of being reflected about that period of time around Utah and everything. It's very interesting because that's how what's the one with Spider-Man? What's his name? Not Tom Holland, but the other one.
Tobey Maguire.
No, the better one.
Andrew Garfield.
He was in a show called Under the Banner of Heaven or something along Banner of Heaven, and that was about it's modern times, but basically about Mormons and everything in Utah, and it's about like a true crime. Basically, it's very interesting. It's all coming kind of to face right now.
I have gotten into the lore of the FLDS. I've read all of the books by the FLDS survivors. I've watched all the documentaries, and it's such a predictable path, and like the amount of violence that's still happening in the state of Utah, but other places like where the FLDS resides. It's just seems very predictable, and it's sad that they have such control over the government still.
It's wild. If I'm not mistaken, they're actually the most profitable denominational religion, at least in the United States, if not the world.
The most money.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
Like how they put houses in the church's name, so like the religion controls every aspect of your life.
No taxes though, so that's cool.
Shit.
Yeah, but they can decide you don't want to marry your daughter off to somebody, they can take your house.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Also true.
That crazy.
So
see, that's
anything
the kind of
that's
stuff
exposing
that
like
wars,
the evil that's happening there, I want to watch it.
Because I
Me
dare
personally-
somebody to try to make me marry Ellie off to somebody that I don't like. God forbid it be a grown man, because that
I don't
mofo's
fuck
dying.
with the Mormons.
And
No,
then the
me
person
either.
that suggested it is dying.
Me either.
And then anybody else that said, hey, you should do this is also dying. Very painful and violent deaths.
Right.
Yeah.
So the synopsis on Netflix itself is a mother and son fleeing from their past from form of bound family while confronting a harsh landscape of freedom and cruelty in the American West. I don't think that really tells you what's happening in the show. But I think it does a pretty good job of outlining what was really going on at that time period. And they go from Kansas to Wyoming to Utah. So
I think once Severance is over, I'm going to check it out.
you should. It's really good. I'm waiting.
It's been
You're
pretty good.
right. I am really into that.
Wow.
A lot of Westerns. Because we're waiting on the next season of 1923 to come out next week.
Cool.
My coworker who does the adult programming, our current theme for adult programming for this kind of semester is like Westerns and stuff.
Yeah. You got to watch Tombstone then.
Classic.
We are.
It's the greatest Western ever made.
I watched it for the first time last year.
Yes.
I have brownies in the oven. Sorry.
Yeah. Well,
wait.
Justice says wait.
I had a thought that I actually think is relevant. I am going to give another recommendation.
Do it.
Because it is Black History Month and because this is the weekend of the release of the new Captain America movie.
Yes. I'm going to see it tomorrow.
We need to, I think I will recommend Truth, Red, White, and Black, which was a 7-issue miniseries which told the story of Isaiah Bradley, who was the Black Captain America.
Yeah.
It takes, in the story, they take inspiration from the Tuskegee experiments, and they're trying to reproduce the lost super soldier serum, and he ends up being the only one who survives. And it's just this crazy story, and in the end he ends up imprisoned, for donning a Captain America uniform to go rescue some soldiers. And like, that's not really a spoiler because the story isn't so much about how it ends as much as it is about everything that takes place. And there's so much more that goes on in there, but it's really a great picture of, it's a great fictional representation of what actually happened to Black people in history. And just putting it with the level of shenanigans that happens in the Marvel universe, that it's grounded in reality, but like if the same things happen in the Marvel universe, like what would happen there? And excellent story. The art is unique, so it's not to everybody's taste, but highly recommend it.
Actually, I'll check that out.
I have a question.
Yes.
I've heard some recent discourse about the upcoming Captain America film and how people are like, why are you seeing it when some girl or something some actress in it is like openly Zionist, ? I don't know how true that is. I haven't done my research, but I was curious if y'all had heard anything.
I don't know
What
anything
actress?
about the actress, but I do know about the character, who she plays, which I think heavily influenced the reshoots for the movie because of, the war in Palestine. Really changed people's like outward perspective on Israeli military. So it's an Israeli superhero named Sabra. She's a mutant in the comics. I don't know if she is in the movie. But she basically represents everything about the Israeli government that's now become so much more controversial. So
Yeah.
I had heard that they were doing reshoots to kind of like minimize her role in the film. I don't know, because I've kind of stayed away from too much information about it. I can't really speak too much on that entirely, but I do know that her character, last time I saw her character in the comics was a comic from the 90s, so I don't even know where she's been. But in the 90s, it wasn't anything weird, but now it's like,
Yeah.
people are.
Okay, so it's the character.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the actress is too, but I don't even know who's playing her.
I don't either. So it's probably the character. I have heard the name of the character. That's why. So
Cool.
interesting.
All right, guys. Well, moving along, I got a fun game for everyone.
No.
Is it fun?
Yes, it's Imposter.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of fun.
That's kind of fun, right? All right.
Imposter.
So if you guys don't remember, Janelle, did you play this one with us?
I don't think so.
No.
Sorry. So the way the game works is I'm going to shoot everyone a text message of a subject, a noun, or a person, place, some that kind of thing. And everyone but one person will have that word. And I'll go around the room, and basically everyone will say a word that describes said word. And the imposter will try to blend in. So here's how it's going to work. Each round, we'll go around, and at any point, if you feel like you know who the imposter is and you're confident in it, you can call that person out. But if you're wrong, you're out for the rest of the game.
Wait, so are you playing?
No.
Oh, this will be fun.
Wait, what is that supposed to mean?
Any game that you're not playing is fun.
I just
for her.
like
That's
seeing-
what she
Jesus
said.
No.
Christ.
That's not what I was saying. I just like seeing your reactions.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, okay. So I got the first one ready. So I'm going to start sending them out to you guys via text. And one of you guys will have, of course, just a random, message that says imposter. So, Chris, say something while I'm doing this, so that way it does not sound awkward.
I don't really know. Oh, I can talk about my new backpack that I got. So for my birthday, I was gifted a hiking backpack, which does not
Ooh.
sound like something you would expect me to enjoy. But because Tim took me hiking on New Year's Day, I've decided to get into hiking. So now I have this really cool backpack that fits with my green autism. And don't laugh at me. So
No,
the
it's
backpack
cute.
is green.
I'm saying it's so cute.
The backpack itself is green, and also before I got the backpack, I bought one of those hydration pouches, like a camel pack, that is also green,
What shade of green?
It's like a
forest green.
yeah, like a dark green.
Oh,
Yeah.
My favorite
It's gonna be
green.
great.
Hunter's got lime green autism for
Wow.
sure,
If your parent
or like
was in-
neon.
Yeah. If your parent was in the army in the 90s, you might call it army green that he
Mm.
likes.
Ah.
All right, guys. I have sent out the text message. Everyone should have received a word. You're either the imposter or not. There's only one imposter. So I'm going to go in the order in which I see it on my screen. So, Justin, you are first. Say a word to describe. Don't look in his glasses, Janelle. Don't
That's why I
cheat.
took mine off.
Justin, you are first. Say a word that you feel like describes the word that was sent.
X.
Okay.
Oh.
Harley.
Ring.
Okay. Janelle, you're next.
Social.
Janelle's the imposter.
I knew he was gonna
Give
make
her a
the,
chance.
No.
Actually, I want to see if Janelle can guess what the word is. Then Chris, say it. Say another one.
Dress.
X.
X ring dress. Can you guess the word?
No.
The word is wife.
My wife.
God damn.
All right. Well, let's
also, sorry, I just want to point out, Janelle, you're no poker face, just pure confusion. I was like, yep, right there.
I'm in my house. Out in public, I have to poker face all day. Otherwise, people will talk to me.
All right.
Have you guys seen those memes of people like, or it's not really a meme, I guess. It's just people posting and being like, I love my wife. Like, that's my favorite genre of post.
What?
Hey, these text messages are showing up on my laptop.
Oh, no.
Huh?
Did you notice, Janelle?
No.
All right, then we're good.
Just let me know before you send it so I can block that.
I'm a good sport, though.
Yes, you are. All right, guys. Round 2. I'm going to start with Harley this time. Harley, say the first word.
Barbecue.
Okay. Janelle, you're next.
Body.
Chris?
Bone saw.
Okay.
Wow.
Justin?
Ribs.
Justin's the imposter.
Justin.
That's the word? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Is that the word?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I'm 2 for 2, baby. Woo!
But is that the first time one of us has just actually just straight up said the word?
Straight up, yeah.
Like the moment I said, I was like, it won't be ribs, but it'll be close. Nope.
Wow. That's impressive, actually.
Hey, I got the theme. I just got it too well, is the problem.
Yeah, you exposed yourself.
He was like, what does murder and barbecue have in common? Ribs.
Okay, guys, I am sending y'all a new one. Chris, I'm about to send it on yours, so yeah, just let you know.
If one of us is going to cheat at this game, it's not going to be me.
No, I know it's not going to be you, but just letting you know, just in case it happens to come across your eye level. Okay. Let's go with Janelle.
Frozen.
Okay. Chris?
Music.
Justin?
Excuse me.
What?
I burped.
Say your word.
Come on, Justin, what's your word? Or call someone out.
No, you have to wait. So everyone says their word.
Yeah, fine. Clueless.
Harley.
Huh?
What was that word?
That wasn't a word. That was me being confused. What won't give it away?
That's the hardest part of this game.
Could you perhaps be clueless?
Get a clue.
Experiment.
Ooh, okay. Janelle?
Language.
Chris? I love being the host of this game.
90s.
90s? Okay. That would be Justin's turn next.
Chris is the imposter.
Yep.
The moment he said music, I knew. I was like, no,
Well,
he's out.
I think maybe you guys would like connect to like the first movie when they like have that musical montage thing going on.
Yeah, but I was like, no.
Captain America.
Oh. Yeah, no.
I almost said black, but I was like, that'll probably give it away.
Should have said 60s. Damn it.
And this time, we are starting with Christopher.
Christopher.
Ego.
Okay. Justin?
Vermin.
Harley?
Oh. Food.
Janelle?
Rodent.
Chris.
Jar.
Justin.
Life raft.
Harley.
Big nose.
Janelle.
Sure.
Chris.
I think Janelle's the imposter.
Winner.
Hey!
But I think she knows what it is, though. Do you know the word?
She doesn't.
SpongeBob.
Wow, I thought you had
Ninja
it.
Turtles.
It's Ratatouille.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, when you said rodent, I
said
did not think you were.
rodent.
Yeah.
Spot on, yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the second
So I
one you
was
said?
like, it's
Feature.
definitely not her.
Oh, man, I could have gotten it really well.
Look at that.
Why'd you think it was me? Feature. A movie feature.
No.
All right, we'll do one more. Harley, I believe we start with you.
National.
Okay. Harley says national. Janelle.
Declare.
Chris.
Bees.
Bees. Justin.
Nicolas Cage.
Justin's the imposter. Justin's the imposter.
No.
How are you doing this?
I don't know. I think I'm psychic.
I think he's playing the wrong game. You're not trying to guess the word,
He's
Justin.
hacking into all of our phones.
Did you really not send that to him?
No, show him, dude. I promise.
How the freaky fuck
I'm telling you.
did you?
He's playing
And
the wrong
why
game.
was that your guess?
Because I thought of Declaration of Independence and I thought of National Treasure.
But could you imagine if he was wrong?
Which-
Like it
okay.
wasn't that. He just randomly said Nick Cage.
Okay,
But
fun
like,
fact, my dad watched National Treasure on repeat for like 2 years.
Yeah, I believe
And he
it.
still watches
it's a great
it.
film.
What
He
is it
watches
like?
it all the time.
What is that like, Janelle? Explain to me how you felt watching the same movie
Whoa.
every day for years with the
No,
saffron.
okay. Hold on,
Yes.
Justin.
Yes.
I'm not over this. Of
No.
all the things to guess, why did you say his name? Why didn't you say like movie or like, I don't know, anything else?
Because
said he's
Nick
playing
Cage
the
is
wrong
what
game.
popped into my head.
After Bees,
I don't know.
Bees did it.
After bees? I didn't get the bees reference.
Was it Wicker Man?
What is the
I think-
bees reference?
I think the name of the movie is Wicker Man. He had a cage put on his head that was filled with
Oh
bees.
yeah, that's that gif.
Bees.
I've never seen that.
Never seen.
I wouldn't have caught that one.
I told
Google
you,
bees
Harley,
with like 6
the
E's
voices
right
in your
now.
head,
You'll
they
see
just
it.
start to merge after a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
I
it
don't
was
even know that
truly
film.
my subconscious making these guesses. Like, I'm just
It's
rolling
impressive.
with it.
It
It's
is.
very impressive, actually.
Okay, but like the goal of the game is not to guess the thing.
He wasn't trying
I
to.
was trying to guess something related, and my brain was like, Nicolas Cage.
That's
Nicolas Cage is related.
specific.
Oh.
Indeed, it is related. In fact,
Oh,
one
too
could even
related.
say they're twins.
It's too related.
Wow.
It might even be the same person. They share 100% of their DNA.
Well,
Jesus.
very impressive, everyone. Good job. Good game, everyone.
I win.
Y'all did a good job. All right,
I think
I was
guys.
I
very
win,
glad I was
actually.
not the imposter. I was nervous.
Next time, Harley. I'll get you next time. All right, everyone. Well, hey, we're going to end this little intro. When we come back, we got some good, relevant things to talk about. See you in a moment. All right, everyone. Welcome back. Here we are, guys. Season 5, episode 2. We have three things to talk about for our main segment today, because they're all kind of relevant to what's going on around us, and because we love to talk about them. So first off, it's the obvious one. We're in the middle of Black History Month,
Ooh, ooh.
and we love to.
Well,
celebrate
wait.
Oh.
Are we? Because I don't know. The president,
Yes.
is saying we don't celebrate that shit no more. So
Wow.
guess it
Well,
ain't real.
here at the
I
Alcohol Podcast,
do.
we do declare it.
Like, who is it
Yes.
hurting?
Well,
White people.
Apparently.
Yeah. Tim gets it.
Also, I want
think
to
you should.
preface this statement by saying the owners of my job are 100% not racist. They're lovely, wonderful people
Well, that's good.
who go out of their way to help immigrants, actually. Really wonderful. But we don't get Martin Luther King Jr. Day off or Juneteenth off. And I'm just like,
You better start turning some tables.
At
He feels
my job,
targeted.
we actually have extended hours for President's Day, Martin Luther King Day.
Extended?
Because there's no school, so the
Juneteenth.
kids have more time to schedule tutoring.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm the only black
make us
person at
work
my
harder.
job.
What do you say, Justin?
I'm the only black person at my job. So I feel like I should personally just get those days off
They should just let us out.
and be
yeah.
paid for it. But
Cool. Well, I wanted to provide a quick synopsis on the history of it. Chris, did you want to read it or do you want me to do it?
Oh, go for it.
Okay.
You wrote it all.
So I got this from a few websites. Primarily, one is just history.com, just to kind of give a quick synopsis about the history of Black History Month. So half century after slavery was outlawed in the U.S. by the 13th Amendment, Black History Month had its start in 1915. The Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, the ASNLH, an organization devoted to studying and promoting the accomplishments of Black Americans and other peoples of African descent, was established that September by the eminent minister Jesse E. Moreland and the Harvard-trained historian Carter G. Woodson. In 1926, the organization, known as the Association for the National Study of African American Life and History, organized a National Negro History Week, selecting the second week of February to align with Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln's birthdays. The incident sparked local celebrations, the creation of history clubs, and the performances in towns and schools around the country. In the decades that followed, mayors from around the country began issuing annual proclamations commemorating Negro History Week. In the late 1960s, many college campuses had transformed Negro History Week into Black History Month, thanks in large part to the civil rights movement and a greater understanding of Black identity. In 1976, President Gerald Ford declared Black History Month, urging the public to, quote, seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history, end quote. Today, Black History Month honors the accomplishments of legacies of African Americans across U.S. history and society, from campaigners and civil rights pioneers such as Harriet Tubman, Sigourney Truth, Marcus Garvey,
Yep.
and Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X.
Sojourner.
Excuse me. And so I want to bring this opportunity for, of course, the two Black people in our group to share any thoughts. And I also want to give everyone an opportunity to share maybe favorite people's events, things like that. I did bring one to the table, but I also want to share the floor. What?
I just want to make it awkward for you.
Okay.
See how much you'll sweat for it. Yeah, so most of my thoughts on Black History Month are specifically from this year. Our current administration has decided that as a country we just no longer celebrate Black History Month, or Pride Month for that matter. And it really bothers me, because when people are like, why do they need a whole month to celebrate? It's because at the very first given opportunity, somebody tries to take it away.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And that's what the whole month is about. Yes, it's to celebrate the great successes and the culture and everything about it. You know, just be happy to be black and proud. But at the same time, it is a constant reminder that, hey, we had to fight for this. Like, our people died so that we could just be looked at as kind of equal. And we're still not. We're not. But Black History Month kind of gives kids, like young Black people, gives them a hope for it. And I refuse to follow that administration's new doctrine for it. So I will continue to celebrate Black History Month.
I just want to say that doctrine is such an appropriate word. He's right there.
Hmm.
That's all.
I'm a poet. I know what I'm doing.
Justin, any thoughts about Black History Month in general that you would like to share?
Have you all seen the movie Sorry to Bother You?
No. Oh, is
All
that
right.
I know what this is though.
It's Lakeith Stanfield and Danny Glover working in the call center.
Yes.
First of all, that trailer of that movie, it lies to you. It lies to you because you're watching a movie and you think you know what movie you're watching, and about halfway through you're like, I don't know what drugs I did. But there's a moment in that movie where I don't even know I can even talk about this on the podcast, but
This is
let's just say Lakeith is Stanfield's characters in doing karaoke in a room full of white people. And he's doing a song, and the main word in the song is the N word. And I just kind of think about that scene a lot because it's just kind of funny because he's singing a song and he's just like looking around this room and looking at all these people just like kind of vibing with it and going with it, but like not really like, I don't know. It's like they're not even like, they're not in it though. Like, and I kind of makes me think about like, people culture vulture, like Drake. But not to bring it back to Drake, but hey, Drake, that's how I feel about you. Come sue me, I dare you.
He'll do it. He's that petty.
Maybe. But like, I don't know. I don't know. I got a lot of feelings about like Black culture right now that are not necessarily easily articulated, but I've got a lot of hostility to the hostility toward Black culture, and kind of like a lot of like what in Kendrick's performance, like Samuel L. Jackson, as Uncle Sam, is like, too loud, too whatever, too ghetto. And it's like, yeah, like I see that a lot. I don't know. Not really about Black History Month, just kind of my thoughts on the Black experience. And Black History Month just makes all of those things come to the surface.
Well, I mean,
I had someone the other day tell me that it was race baiting in regards to, people talking about the conservative complaints about Kendrick's performance, people complaining about the conservative complaints about Kendrick's performance. And I'm like,
you don't know what race baiting means.
They're like, oh, just like all this stuff is just to divide us, it's like nobody's really caring about race like that. And I'm like, that's because you're not on the receiving end of it. Like,
yeah.
What a privileged, stupid opinion to have.
Right.
I have a conversation with someone very close to me easily once a week where the viewpoint of this person I 100% know is because it does not impact this person. So they're able to have the viewpoint that they have. And then I explain something to them from my own personal experience, and that person is just like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like, why does it take me
having to convince them,
to convince you that I experience these things so they're real just because you don't?
Yeah. Yeah, there's usually a goalpost being moved. There's usually some kind of like they have to be forced into a corner to acknowledge something like that.
Yeah.
It's like I always like to ask people, like, are you calling me a liar? But then the other thing too is people will be like, oh, it's like you're imagining it or whatever.
You're
when I say things like
whatever.
They didn't mean it like that. That
or
doesn't
like
happen.
When I explain to people, it's like I have to work harder than my white counterpart to get the same amount of consideration. And that's even in, places where people are generally more tolerant because there still is a lot of like deeply ingrained cultural perceptions that a lot of people aren't aware of. And that's kind of like the whole systemic part of systemic racism that a lot of people don't understand. It's like It's not that people are necessarily actively and overtly racist. It's that racism is systemically ingrained into America.
It's inherent.
So it's like when I see someone in a position of power who, and maybe some of this came from my time in the church, who realistically shouldn't be. And then I'm like at the bottom of the totem pole because even though like I do more and I work harder, or I do like 80% of their job, and it's like, why am I at the bottom when I'm the one who's doing all the work and I'm the one who's producing all the value for this situation, organization, whatever. And then even the people above will be like, oh, you're doing so much, but it's like there's never that opportunity to advance, which is why I'm not in those situations anymore. Whereas other people would, who were doing less or contributing less. Whereas the only real difference was, hey, I'm doing more than everybody else, but I'm still kept down here and I'm the only black person. And it's like, in that situation, it's hard to not look around and be like, well, the only real difference I'm seeing is my skin color and I'm being kept in a lower position. And then when that happens repeatedly and in different environments, you're like, hey, I feel like there's a consistent factor here. And the consistent factor is me. But if I'm getting good reviews on what I'm doing and I'm getting great feedback, then why am I not progressing? And it's kind of hard to like explain that to people because like also the other thing too is like sometimes you'll have experiences where people will say stuff or do stuff to you and like as a black person, it's like, and it's so hard to explain to other people like explaining to white people the things that exist in black culture that are just like unspoken, or like if I go into a room that is like 98% white and I make eye contact with a black guy and he does not do the head nod, I'm like, yeah.
You're not safe in that room.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, you're not on my side. And it's like, that's kind of like, so just like ingrained. It's like, because what it is like this like whole idea of like, I see you. And it's like, we're in the same situation. And there's like so many things in black culture that have transcended that, but that's where they originated. That I think that, and it's hard to explain that to people too. It's like, there's like so many things that are like now cool or whatever came out of like necessity or hardship, or just like to develop some sense of camaraderie amongst, being a minority and disadvantaged constantly, like and having to look out for each other.
As a person who is only half black in these situations, I don't look as black as obviously as you or other people like you. However, I'm still treated negatively by the white people that would treat you negatively as well, because I don't look like them. They may not be able to place what I am, but I don't look like them, and that's enough. And anytime I'm in a room where it's like 98% white people and I see the black guy and I do the head nod, he knows immediately, oh, that guy's part black at least. So he's got my back and I've got his.
And I will say, black people, I don't know, man. It's like a lot of times, like you'll see a mixed person, people will be like, oh, I didn't know he was mixed. I'll be like, yeah, I did, obviously. Like, because to me, it's like they look black on like some level. And I think that that's just because it's like, oh yeah, I'm used to seeing black features. Cause like, I don't know, there's like a whole spectrum of like blackness that is underrepresented in media. So I don't think a lot of people realize like how much diversity there is within that.
They don't. It's the same with really any minority group. Like you can put a Korean, a Chinese person, or a Japanese person side by side in front of a group of white people and not one of them could tell you the difference. But if you put the same three people in front of, let's say, a Vietnamese person, they could tell you exactly where that person is from, probably down to like the city that they were born and raised in.
Yeah. Yeah. It really just comes down to privilege of just, as I've had to learn is that there's so many things that I've not had to think about and not had to consider. And Harley, you have watched all of Severance, correct?
Not the new season.
Okay. Well, you guys might have seen it on TikTok, but there's the new season's out, and there's this scene in one of the episodes where there's two black people, and they work for a company that it's kind of like Mormon-esque, and this guy gets a gift from basically an all-white company, and it's meant to be kind of like here, we think about you based off your color and everything. And it's this deeply insensitive gift, and I don't want to ruin it because I think you guys should really watch it, but I've seen a lot of content creators, black content creators, talk about just the language that is being used between the two black people receiving that gift and the contact and the communication they're having with one another without having to say a word. And it's so it's one of the things that I try to keep in perspective whenever I think, especially for us white people in the room, a lot of the times we want to take the voice of ally, we want to take the voice of being here and supportive, but then having to, at least from my particular situation, try to remember that my voice does not, and I don't mean this in like a condescending way, but it does not matter in the grand scheme of things. Like, it's all about lifting up y'all and yours voice and not having to put on any hero complex, because it's definitely one of the things on the left that a lot of people try to take place of, like, oh, what can I do to, be the hero in this situation?
Yeah.
And so it's an interesting dynamic, because you want to be supportive, but also it's not about you.
And I'm in a weird middle spot where, like, I know that as a black person, I do have the right to say these things. I have a voice that matters, but also as not a fully black person that is phenotypically more native, white looking, maybe sometimes I should just shut up. So I feel that. All that to be said, Black History Month.
I'm not going to say anything on that because I have no idea.
Black History Month is very important to the culture, and it's great to see all these creators doing like the month of Black History, where they take, like, one day they'll do Langston Hughes and another day they'll do like Sojourner Truth, and they just kind of do like little tidbits each day of different Black historical figures that a lot of people don't know, because even though Black history is American history, we're not taught it in school.
Right. Speaking of, I did bring something to the table, someone to recognize. But before I do that, does anyone want to share any people, stories, things like that, to address? No? You had something?
Yes. I don't have a story, but what I want to say is, for white people specifically, it is your responsibility to teach your children about the inequalities that minorities and Black people specifically face in the history of this country, because they are not learning about it in school. And too many people think, well, I didn't do that, so that's not my problem. That's an unacceptable viewpoint. There are too many resources, and it's your job to make sure that they know, so that they don't fall into being racist.
Yeah.
Anti-racist baby is bred, not born.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, it's your job, and you can teach them about it at a young age. I'm very glad my mom is a history buff, and she taught me, and she got me books, and she made me read them. All three of us read them. I was more interested in history than my siblings, but she made sure we knew. And I think that it's your responsibility to teach your kids.
Amen.
I will say, I feel like it's an uphill battle. Having, 3 white nephews, some of the conversations I've had to have has been like, ooh, and like, and it's entirely born out of a place of like innocent ignorance, and it's like, because it's like they're not being taught things in school that were taught like back when I was in school, and they also exist in a much more predominantly white area than like where I went to school, and having so like but then they're also like so like invested into like popular like Black culture, like in everything hip hop and all this stuff mainstream, that it creates like this weird, dynamic of like where they feel like they understand like Black culture, and then it's like me and my sister sometimes just having to be like, they'll say like the most outlandish shit, and we're just like, like no, it's like I don't, and it's something like I generally don't even necessarily know how to deal with, because it's like they, it's hard to combat ideas that you don't know exist.
Mm. I'd like to reflect back on what both of y'all kind of mentioned in that at the very beginning of this conversation, is that a lot of this comes down to, it's frustrating, like you guys mentioned, to have to explain yourself and have to, like, people just not believing you.
Justify my existence.
Right. As the only white male in this group, I am, and I've shared this before in my own personal journey, is I've had to learn to shut up and listen, whether it's about women and their experiences, whether it's about people of color and their experiences, whether it's any minorities, LGBTQ and everything else like that. And it's wild to me, my word of advice to any people that ever listen to my voice regarding how I think about things is just to learn to listen to people's stories. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, facts get thrown around, or quote unquote facts get thrown around all the time. But at the end of the day, what's going to motivate change in people's lives, especially the people that you care about, it's going to be about stories. And that's what's going to make changes of heart. Because I thought I had the facts 15 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was. That didn't change my perception of things. It was caring about people that changed my perception of things. The facts followed, and it does grant those things, I believe, but ultimately the way our minds, our human bodies are hardwired, we don't listen to fact and reasons first. We listen to emotions first, and we listen to what our experiences say. And so hearing stories, I think, is vital.
I think it's getting so hard in America, especially, and I don't really know about the rest of the world because I'm not there, but we've moved away from valuing intelligence,
For sure.
and cultivating it. There's actually, I just reading something yesterday that Microsoft had done a study and like showing like how the effects of using AI on the brain and like having like lower problem solving and reasoning skills and all of these other things. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I see that in kids today, but like we've set people up in such a way to be constantly fed information, and people are constantly told rather than taught.
Mm.
And I feel like that's why we're in the place we are in today with conservatism, because I feel like when I was a kid, the conservative party that I grew up around, like I had to go back and make sure like I'm not like just misremembering because I'm a kid, but it's like it was way different. Like there wasn't this whole like waiting for marching orders from the people at the top. And I feel like that's how a lot of religion has got, because you'll tell people you can quote the ideals of Jesus, but if you don't put Jesus' name on it, people call you like a communist or a Marxist or whatever, even if they're like supposedly Christian. It's like because they're just told what things are and how to believe and how to live, and nobody actually does any work for themselves and how to figure that out. Because of that, it's hard to have productive conversations about the effects of racism or the plight of minorities in the US when people don't experience that, because people aren't willing to be told stories and trust them unless they're by the designated authority, the person who they've decided has the authority to speak in their life, be it, like a Trump or a Musk or their pastor, or, a family member or a friend whose opinion they highly value. If it's not coming from one of those sources,
Whoever's in the tribe, yeah.
And honestly,
it's
you
like
just put those sources in the order that those kind of people listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
probably subconsciously inspired by real world interactions. Much
is.
like my Nicolas Cage guess.
My biggest thing on that though is like the cognitive dissonance that most people have nowadays to viewpoints that are not their own. And when I say most people, I mean conservatives. To viewpoints that are not their own. Like, if you bring them fact after fact, video evidence, like exactly what they're talking about, they'll argue one side, you'll argue the other, and you have solid proof. They just don't care.
Yeah.
They will not believe anything. Like, one of my favorite things is watching Jordan Klepper go to those Trump rallies.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll talk to people and he'll say, oh, well, Biden was accused of raping this woman or that woman. He needs to be under the jail. He needs to suffer, blah, blah, blah. Oh, no, wait, that was Trump. Oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Cognitive dissonance is a bitch, man.
Like, I don't understand that. How do you not?
Yeah,
they always say facts don't care about your feelings. And then you give them facts and they're like, nope, I don't feel like that's right.
Well, and like,
and they'll be like, oh, where are your statistics from? And it's like,
right.
Your people.
I saw that happen today. Somebody on my Facebook feed posted something, and it was about how Trump and Musk are not benefiting veterans the way that they promised they would during the election thing. And
that was your mother-in-law.
Yeah.
I was going to leave her out of it, but yeah. It's fine.
Sorry.
So she posted it, and somebody was like, well, this came from a Democrat, so I don't believe it. But it's a Democrat that works in the government whose job is being currently affected, and the report was about how their job is being currently affected.
It's like, it wasn't like anything like political. It's just like, this is happening to me right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
I should clarify, mother-in-law was not on the wrong side.
No.
Correct.
No,
she was spreading awareness.
She knows what
she's
she's talking
period.
about. She pays attention.
Yeah.
And changes her mind when presented with new information.
It's like when the stuff was happening with when Kyle Rittenhouse killed those people, or shot those people, the one guy. And all the protests and the shooting of Jacob Blake, all that in Kenosha. And I had people on Facebook trying to tell me what was going on, and I'm like, I live here. Yeah. I'm literally downtown right now, and you're trying to tell me what's going on in my city. And then people would argue with me
at a protest, and I was told how that protest got so violent and belligerent. I'm like, where? I'm standing right here. Like, I'm currently with these people. Nothing is happening. We are singing. Like, my guy, sit down. Be humble.
Yeah. Well.
So that's Black History Month in a nutshell.
I did want to share, if y'all don't mind, this past summer I wrote a paper about my least favorite founding father. Anyone want to take a guess?
Alexander Hamilton.
Not Alexander Hamilton. He's actually not a... I'm sorry, who'd you say, Harley?
Thomas Jefferson.
Thank you very much, Harley.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
With the big,
all caps.
Hot sauce covered spiky dildo.
In my research for this motherfucker, I found a beautiful human being by the name of, let me make sure I say that correctly here, Benjamin Benneker, I believe is how you pronounce his name. A brief description about him. He was born in 1731, died in 1806. He was an African-American mathematician, astronomer, inventor, and author known for his contributions to early American science and advocacy against slavery. Born to a free black family in Maryland, he was largely self-taught and demonstrated exceptional talent in mathematics and astronomy. He is known for doing a lot of great things. He published a series of almanacs, which included astronomical calculations, weather predictions, all that kind of stuff. He was also one of the main contributors to surveying the land for Washington, D.C. So the way it's set up is because of him. Just an incredibly brilliant human being. And he just so happened to be alive around the same time as, of course, the American Revolution and Thomas Jefferson and everything. And so he wrote this letter to Jefferson. And mind you, they had some interactions back and forth together, and I can't remember all the details about it. But long story short, Jefferson didn't know who he was and kind of of course, downplayed him because of who he was, person of color, that kind of stuff. And then Thomas Jefferson kind of realized who he was and what he was capable of. Like, oh, okay, yeah, you're doing all right.
You're one of the good ones.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things that people may not realize about Thomas Jefferson is that he actually spoke up against slavery at one point, and then of course immediately went back to his home with hundreds of slaves, and the horrible history.
Slavery is wrong. Don't you own slaves? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And so
the original cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. So anyways, he wrote this letter to him, which is basically I would like to I think it applies perfectly to what Kendrick did perfectly to Dre. It's basically just a complete, beautiful letter to Thomas Jefferson calling him out for his bullshit. And I wanted to read just a quick snippet of it. It says, "Sir, suffer with me to recall to your mind that time in which the arms and tyranny of the British crown were exerted with every powerful effort in order to reduce you to a state of servitude. Look back, I entreat you, on the variety of dangers to which you were exposed. Reflect on that time in which every human aid appeared unavailable, in which even hope and fortitude wore the aspect of inability to the conflict, and you cannot but be led to a serious and grateful sense of your miraculous providential preservation. You cannot but acknowledge that this present freedom and tranquility which you enjoy have mercifully received, and that is the peculiar blessing of heaven. This, sir, was a time in which you clearly saw into the injustice of the state of slavery, in which you had just apprehensions of the horrors of its condition. It was now, sir, that your abhorrence, therefore, was so excited that you publicly held forth this true and invaluable doctrine, which is worthy to be recorded and remembered in all the succeeding ages. Quote, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. End quote. Quoting him back to his face. And here's where he continues on. Here, sir, was a time in which your tender feelings for yourselves had engaged you thus to declare. You were then impressed with proper ideas of the great valuation of liberty and the free possession of these blessings to which you were entitled by nature. But, sir, how pitiable it is to reflect that although you were so fully convinced of the benevolence of the Father of mankind and of his equal and impartial distribution of these rights and privileges which he had conferred upon them, that you should at the same time counteract his mercies in detaining by fraud and violence so numerous a part of my brethren under groaning captivity and cruel oppression, that you should be the same time be found guilty of that most criminal act which you professedly detested in others with respect to yourselves." And I think this is probably my favorite writings from the 18th century. And I just fucking love it. And Binneker. I'm all for it.
I'm definitely going to look more into that.
This letter is, there's so much more to it, but that little piece of it is just,
And here's the opposite side of successful revolutions, because it does take letters like that, calling people out, using words to make your point, get your point across. My figure that I want to reference is Nat Turner. If you guys haven't read about Nat Turner, you should.
Mm-hmm.
He led a very successful slave revolution by killing all the slave masters that he could find, starting with his own and then moving on to the neighbor's house. And just as he continued, picking up more black people.
Yeah.
As you do. It's like, hey, we're going down the road. You want to come? Yeah, we'll be there. All right, dope. And they just picked up more and more black people, killing more and more slave owners. I love it. Look into that history. But between the two, that's how you have a revolution.
Yeah. Anything else, anyone?
Speaking to that, I think that, one of the things that I've seen is I've seen some people calling, what Kendrick did at Super Bowl, performative activism, because it doesn't really do anything or doesn't really accomplish anything. And I'm like, nah, because at the very least, it's got people talking.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, and I'll say that I say this every year that there's an election when politics roll around. It's like, you can't, if you want to make changes inside of a system, you very rarely can go full balls to the wall and be successful.
Yeah.
It's like only if you're destroying stuff. Like Elon Musk,
Right.
balls to the walls, successful at dismantling the government because it's like, hey, it's like it's easier to break down. But if you want to build something and change something, you can't just go full speed into like massive change because people won't respond well to that. It's like you have to plant an idea, you have to nurture it, let that idea grow before you can expect masses to get up and move with you. Nat Turner had the advantage of basically almost all the slaves did not want to be slaves.
He wasn't,
and
that's the difference though. He wasn't working in the system.
Right.
He was trying to break it from the outside.
He was tearing down a system. The problem we have right now in America is that it's too big for any of us in all of our various fractured people groups to start a revolution and have it be successful. I think that's honestly the biggest problem politically of the left is that it's very fractured. Like, I'd say, Chris, you're not a Democrat, you're a leftist, and same, probably to maybe not quite the as far left as you are, but still pretty far left, and so it's like, but then, you've got people who are Democrats or people who are like moderate left, and they all have we all share this idea that like, we don't like what this other group is doing, but they're unified so they can actually get stuff done.
Right.
But because of all of this fracturing, it's like you can't start a revolution there
I think the
without
left needs
any
a
agreement.
cult leader.
Well, authoritarianism is easy. That's why. Like, I don't mean that in like the sense of it's easy to follow someone who speaks about power and authority and everything.
The left needs a cult leader.
I want to point out something that I just realized. Musk knows that you can go balls to the walls with destruction, but you have to start small with a movement. And I remember with Tesla specifically, Tesla did not have dealerships. They did not have stores. They had concept showrooms for years. For like 10 years, it was a concept showroom where he was paying people to talk about Teslas. Ordering them was like an elite process for a very long time.
Yeah.
So
I used to love that place.
I know. We used to go. I remember.
There's one in the Domain in Austin, and every time we
I don't think it's there anymore.
We would stop in.
But it's important, and now they have an assembly line factory in Austin. So Musk knows that.
And what's interesting about that is they had to do that because the laws were structured in a way that manufacturers can't sell direct to consumers. Like, they would have to have a dealership.
Yes.
Except for like, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I know that was like a big issue there, was that like all the dealership groups, have lobbied to keep things going that way. So that you have to go through all of this inefficient process to buy a car. It's the same reason that anything and everything that's inefficient in the US that could be better exists because a group has a lot of money and lobbies against making it better.
Yep. I mean, lobbyists killed the first electric car in the 90s by Chevy. Not a revolutionary idea.
They also may or may not have physically killed the first person to invent a hydrogen-powered engine. Yes, Harley?
I have comments.
Please share.
And questions. So, I think something that we don't do enough, and I don't mean like specifically us, but like people in general, especially like Americans, is just shut up and listen. There's always something to say. There's always a comment to make. There's always something to retort with. And I feel like if more people just would shut up, and I miss when the saying opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. and some
Most
stink.
of them stink.
Yeah, I wish that was more
Well, the
common
problem nowadays
again.
is that people are eating assholes. So.
That is true. But I mean, to each their own, literally. And I just wish more people would not speak. And I think that's how I personally have learned so much, is by giving people the stage when it's not my turn to be on it.
Amen.
And another thing, kind of tying into what Justin said about how like the problem that we have today is that like getting these ideas, it can't happen just like on like the turn, like what is the saying, the turn of a coin or whatever, flip a coin.
Yeah.
It can't happen just like that. And I'm curious if that's where we went wrong historically, is it was so, all of these ideas were so sudden that should have been happening initially, obviously, like obviously not owning people. But like the way it was gone about, I feel like they did it so wrong, especially with like Lincoln, because then he also got assassinated, and the guy after him pretty much turned back everything that he did. It all just got really screwed, and then people just kind of like started doing as they will, instead of being like, oh yeah, this is actually like a really terrible thing and we should, not do it. But instead it was like, oh yeah, they say we did this terrible thing, but like, was it actually? And then I think that just gave root to even more terrible things.
Well, I think that ties in, Harley, to a great point about you have to look at, there's a unique aspect to it in America just because of chattel slavery. Like that didn't exist in a lot of places as extreme as it did in America. Not saying it didn't exist in other places, but it was most extreme in America, especially in like Brazil and a few other places like that. But like these changes, like abolishing slavery, they happened in other places around the same time, if not a little bit before America did. And so you have, of course, what was it? Not Jackson. Who was the president after Lincoln?
Grant.
I thought it was.
No, not Grant.
I thought it was Jackson.
Was it Jackson? Yeah, it might have been Jackson.
Andrew.
No,
Andrew Jackson
Johnson.
was 7.
Johnson. Anyways, but like that whole spiel, and then of course the election of 80-something, where they basically allowed the Southern troops or the American troops to leave the South, so that way they could like allow Jim Crow laws and all that stuff. I felt like there was like 3 steps forward and 2 steps back for like the last 100 years. Of like there is some progress being made, but it's inching forward, and that causes so much still, obviously, racism and hatred and everything to manifest. And so while other countries were able to advance more quickly, taking 3 steps forward and 1 step back, America has just always been maybe an inch at a time kind of thing, versus other countries where chattel slavery and racism wasn't so built in. Of course, there's a whole geographical reason behind that, but that's part of the reason I think what you're getting at, Harley, is that America couldn't, for XYZ reason. Just racism is just a fucking bitch.
And now we're taking 2 steps forward, 10 steps back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Real quick, one more thing, sorry. The concept of white guilt is crazy to me. Because it's like, why do you feel guilty if you didn't do it?
Right.
Like, sure, other white people were really bad, but that's not like, if it don't apply, let it fly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Black people don't want you to feel guilty. We just want you to treat us like everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and be aware that these are real things that have happened
shit sucks.
and are
Listen
actively.
to me when I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's like,
well, people people assume reparations or anything like that means like, oh, things are not supposed to be fair. Like, no, that means we're trying to make things level here. Like, that's all that means, is we're trying to bring things back to a level playing field.
If you
it's
are
not that hard.
Yeah, if you are white, eliminate the sentence, I just don't think that way from your vocabulary. Like, don't say that shit.
I feel like people should be constantly wanting to evolve and learn.
Yes.
And I feel like we've somehow become really constipated, if you will.
Well, Harley, you bring up a great point, though, and what we kind of alluded to earlier, and we should probably move on in a second here, but, like, we want to listen to what we want to hear. And that's the problem, is we want to listen to the things that make us feel good, that doesn't cause that cognitive dissonance in ourselves and everything. And so that's why college is important, when you have people who peer review each other and are battling to get the right information out. Not because it's supposed to be a bad thing, but it's because it's supposed to be hard. We want the truth to filter out, not just anything to come out.
Yeah. How dare you?
Should we talk about Drake?
Say Drake.
Kendrick said it himself. This is bigger than the music. Okay.
Oh,
Listen.
I saw something about Drake literally just the other day about how somebody had said something to him or they were making some comments about him on the internet. And so Drake went and followed their, like, freshly 18-year-old daughter on Instagram. And it's like, wow, it's like you're either leaning into the allegations because you think it's funny or the allegations are true. Either one is bad. Either one is bad.
Either one is bad.
Well,
Here's my viewpoint on Drake, though. It's that he may or may not have done anything illegal. Like, there's no proof that he's messaging or doing anything illegal with these underage girls. But he's so fucking creepy about the way that he's not doing things with these girls. Like, if you're waiting until her 18th birthday,
you're a predator.
And then sending her a message, you're a fucking predator.
It's a whole fucking youth pastor thing.
You are a predator. You are a pedophile. Like, I don't care what you say. You may not have acted on it, but that's out of self-preservation, not out of desire.
Right. If
you want to be with a 16-year-old girl, you're fucking weird. You're a creep.
It's like
1,000%.
It's like anytime one of those, like, weird, like, conservative personalities say, like, that, like, 14 is like the optimal age for a woman or childbirth.
Yeah.
I'm like, what kind of messed up person? Like, how do you type that? Look at that and be like,
when I stopped caring about the age of consent in other countries, when I became an adult, it doesn't matter. They're like, well, in Japan, the age of consent is 16 or whatever it is. Like, nobody fucking cares.
Like, why is there a desire? Creepy. Why are you trying to bend the rules? Like that. Yeah. That speaks volumes here.
But also, you're a 35-year-old man. Why do you know that?
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm like, why? Yeah. All these people are like, well, the age of consent is technically blah blah blah. I'm like, why are you so up to date on the age of consent when you're 40? Like, like that's weird, dude.
You should be worried about just finding a woman to consent.
Like, literally write your will, actually, because please find something better to do.
Do a flip.
Can we talk about
off a cliff?
Off a building. Yeah.
Preferably into rocks and water. Less.
Can we actually talk about just like how like excellent the performance actually was, though?
I haven't watched the whole
beautiful.
thing.
It was really great.
My God.
Listen, I was working all day. I made pretty good money.
Period.
I mean, that's
so good.
Aria was dancing like crazy too. It was amazing.
I have heard nothing but good things about
I've
Kendrick's
seen clips
pants.
of it. The jeans.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
They were like my childhood.
Yes.
His legs look so good in them. I don't care. I don't care. Go off.
I specifically really love the way he avoided eye contact like the entire time until he said, "Say Drake."
I was kicking my feet, giggling.
Yes.
I love Kendrick. He's so good. I have loved him since middle school, which is like obviously when we're all vulnerable and it's like very profound and you're like, this man is singing. He sings words. Do they apply to me? No, because I'm a little white girl. But I was like, oh, this is so different.
I have never felt so old in my life,
Harley.
Harley.
Loved to be his classmate.
Middle school. Damn.
Yes, I would have loved to be his middle school classmate, like in science class, and just hung out with him. I bet he was so funny.
Wait, how old is he?
Because he's funny now, obviously.
37.
37.
He's not too far from us.
The smirk.
Brilliant mind.
I know.
He's the same age as my brother.
Yeah. He would have graduated when we were freshmen. So
Yeah.
Not me.
I loved oh my god, my brain. She's just gone. She's gone.
Serena?
Listen. Can only
Yes.
be-
Yeah. Oh, love it.
Literally, she popped up on the screen, and I'm hollering to this group around me
Ugh.
who have no idea what's going on this entire halftime show. And I said, "Is that Serena? What are you doing here?" And it was just she looks so good. So good.
She always
And then-
does.
Like,
flawless.
just the whole,
Always.
the performance, it wasn't even like, it was art. Like,
Yeah.
truly, like, it was a story that was being told in front of us. And, like, I personally, I don't know. I don't give a crap about the halftime shows otherwise.
Oh, that's
There's
the
too
only
much
part I
going
care
on.
About.
It's overstimulating. And so, but this year, I was like, yes. Yes, K-Dot, let's go. I was so excited. And so then when he finally got out there, and then there was Sam, Uncle Sam, Samuel L. Jackson, I said, "What are you doing here?" It was just so good. Oh my god, all of the imagery and the symbolism and the storytelling and the words and the call out. I didn't think that man was going to call Drake out.
How did you
I
not?
mean, I'm sorry.
How did you not?
It's so on brand.
I
Kendrick Lamar is, in recent history, the biggest hater.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not anyone
I
I can
love
think of
that for
that
him.
hates someone more than Kendrick Lamar hates Drake.
I will say he's inspired me to a new level of haterade.
Let me
No,
hear
seriously,
about
like, I want to be on that level of hatred for somebody. I don't have anybody that I hate that
I
much.
can't think of
Same.
anyone either.
I feel like that's a character flaw in me. Like, maybe I should
Well,
hate somebody
But he's
that
so
much.
he so beautifully hates those. It's not just
For
like
good
rage.
reason. Yes,
Yeah,
it's
for
art.
good reason.
There is tact.
He brought out not one, but two of Drake's exes for a slap in the face. Because Drake had a song in one of his lyrics. He was like, "I'm bigger than the Super Bowl." Kendrick went twice. He's been twice.
Yeah. I like to point out too, like, just how, like, we're all talking about, obviously, like, how artful and, like, beautifully well crafted it was, but, like, genuinely just how, Harley, you bring a great point, like, in other Super Bowls, like, there's cool performances here and there, but, like, this one felt like I'm watching a indie film in front of me. Like, it was so
done
incredibly
with
crafted.
intention.
Yeah, it's so detailed and so, like, this is history books kind of shit going on, and, like, it was just so well crafted.
I saw somebody say that in like 20 years there's going to be like in the AP like history classes like DBQs written over this.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, yes. Yes.
Hated
But, like,
DBQs.
My like
What are
one part that I feel
DBQs?
like really got me, and this was not like in an artsy like kind of way. It was the fact that this man basically ran around a football field while sounding the most clear
Flawless.
and perfect and like just
Excellent.
insane. Yes.
I will say there's some points where he was feeling it. He was feeling it, and you could hear it in his voice.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Although
like
I've seen a lot of people like, "Oh, I couldn't understand what he was saying. He was just mumbling."
No.
First of all, you're racist.
You're a hater.
Secondly,
You're a hater and
there
you're
is
bad
a
at
thing
it.
called mumble rap, and that is not it.
Yeah.
But honestly, I will say though, for some of those people, if they got their sound or their TV set to 5.1 surround sound and they just got that stereo, they probably didn't understand a thing. Because the number of times I've gone like one of my parents' house and being like, "Why does your TV sound like this? How do you understand anything?" Like, "Oh, I just turn it up." Change the settings. Damn.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my rant as a sound professional. I'll step away.
One last thing I'll say on this, it is interesting to hear, because there's one person I saw on social media who I will not name, but they were complained about.
Name them.
I saw.
Name
Yeah,
'em.
you saw?
I saw.
Name them.
No, No, I'm not going to.
Who
But
is it?
they were complaining about like there was no clear message. There was no clear like theme or what exactly. No, exactly. And they're like,
He
you know,
painted it and spelled it out.
well, and that was
What?
the thing. It's like there is a certain demographic of people and they expect things to be cookie cutter presented to you like you were a kindergartner. And it's like that's not what
It was.
But even
It was presented to us like we are kindergartners.
But
he made it very explicit what he was trying to say.
I
The
agree
only
with
way
you.
I understand what you're saying,
is to
Tim.
be under a boulder of cognitive dissonance.
But Chris, there is context and there is history with
Yes.
that show that you kind of have to know. But my point in what I respond to this person was like, hey, in art and in anything in life in general, there's usually deeper context, and that's the beauty of art is you doing some investigating if you don't know what it is all involved. And so like. Yeah, it's just wild to me, though, that people complain about something. It's like, then just fucking Google it. Like, why are we complaining about this?
It's like, they said that, if you have, if the thing isn't presented clearly, it's not doing a good job. Though my favorite thing was someone commented, I was like, didn't the Bible say that people didn't understand Jesus' parables?
Yes.
And I'm like,
so you were definitely on that thread.
I was like, damn.
We're going to talk about this later then because I
Sure.
want to be
no,
nosy.
I want to know who,
Hold, please.
who it is.
Hold.
I'm not going to right now.
So I see what you're saying though because I saw someone was posted on social media like I'm just here to see who didn't like the halftime show. And she's trolling everyone. But someone said a conservative person was like I really love the part where there was an American flag. And I just wanted
oh honey
literally that
honey.
oh honey like
yep,
girl
and split right down the middle right away.
Oh yeah, no symbolism there.
I don't believe in testing for literacy to vote, but yeah.
One of my friends told me that they didn't know what NATO was a couple years ago, and I about just left the building.
Bless their heart.
I was like, why are we talking about politics right now? Why are we talking about politics? Like, I don't understand how we can be talking about politics when you don't know NATO.
I feel like
at all.
I feel like
they're
if
like,
you're going to vote, you should have to know at least one policy of the person you're voting for.
I am always against the idea of like some sort of like literacy or like
I agree.
No,
idea like you have to know so much to vote.
Know a policy,
Just one finish.
Because inevitably if a law like that got enacted, bad actors would get in control of it, and eventually it would just.
Well, it was enacted.
Yes.
It was a thing.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
During Jim Crow, which was not cool. Not cool.
Right.
Yeah, I loved, like, genuinely, like, I think I've watched it probably a handful of times already, the performance.
Same.
But I don't understand how people thought it was boring, and maybe it was because there wasn't the fireworks show or the mashup wasn't going fast enough or whatever, but like, oh my God, like, it was so good.
Yeah.
Didn't Michael Jackson come out on stage one time and just stand there for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
That's all he had to do.
Yeah. Well,
but those are the people that are like, see, that was a performance.
No.
He just stood there.
They didn't like Michael Jackson.
Like, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, I have not listened to a lot of Kendrick songs. Like, I know some of them, like some of the more popular ones, but like, I'm not like an avid listener. But this show was just good. Like, just watching, he is a great entertainer, and like, he knew what he was doing on that stage, and just like, you could see the charisma and the talent just gushing out. And so, like, objectively, as a person who is not like the biggest Kendrick fan, I could respectfully understand and respect his talent, and it was also fun and catchy. It was just I like literally hardly the same thing. I've been listening to like the live recording from the halftime show, like to and from work.
Have you listened to like the whole songs though? Like, I don't know if it's been put on Spotify, but like I think on Apple Music they did like his set list and like all the songs from the set list. It's just beautiful.
The last halftime show I was this interested in was probably 2020.
I forgot which one that was.
Shakira and Jay.
Oh, yeah.
Also great.
That one was great.
So great.
Yep. All right. Well, we got one more topic we can talk about, and we can end the show after that if everyone's on board with that. And as promised, it's Valentine's Day, or it's going to be. Well, by the time this episode releases, I guess it'll be past. But for us, it's tomorrow. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Yay.
All right. So origins, Valentine's Day. There's a lot. Like, I don't think people realize just how complicated. Just like every holiday and like, historically, value tradition, there's complexity to it. Just like evolution, it's not just like one line of like how it came to be. It's often a blend of different cultures and things. Like Christmas, it's not just one thing. It's a compilation of a lot of things. And so in the same way, the origins of Valentine's are unknown. Although February has long been recognized as a month of passion, the celebration combines Christian and ancient Roman traditions. But who was Saint Valentine? The Catholic Church honors at least 3 martyred saints called Valentine. According to one account, a 3rd century Roman priest disobeyed Emperor Claudius II's prohibition on marriage for young men by secretly performing marriages. When discovered, he was executed. Others say the event commemorates Saint Valentine of Terni, a bishop who was also killed by Claudius II. Despite the uncertainties, Valentine's legacy is remembered as a symbol of love and loyalty. Some say Valentine's Day is held in mid-February to commemorate Valentine's death about 2070 CE. Others believe the Christian church established it there to replace Lupercalia, a pagan fertility celebration celebrated on February 15th. Lupercalia commemorated Faunus, sounds Latin, the Roman god of agriculture and Rome's founders, Romulus and Remus. The Luperci, I guess, a Roman priest, began the event by assembling in a holy cave where the twins were claimed to be nursed by a she-wolf. They slaughtered a goat for fertility and a dog for purification before slicing the goat's skin into stripes. What?
Strips.
Strips, thank you. Dipping it in Janelle had a face. I thought she was about to say something. Dipping it in blood and lightly slapping women in crops to promote fertility. Lupercalia.
Freaky.
Indeed.
Effective.
I doubt it. It's always the men's fault.
Well, you're not wrong. Lupercalia persisted throughout early Christianity, but was outlawed in the late 5th century by Pope Galasius. Thank you. I was actually need to get better reading glasses. Who proclaimed February 14th St. Valentine's Day. It wasn't until later that the day became associated with love. Americans most likely started sharing handmade valentines in the early 1700s. In the 1840s, Esther A. Howland, known as the Mother of the Valentine, began selling the first mass-produced valentines in the United States. Her creative creations included actual lace, ribbons, and bright, quote, scrap photos.
So we can blame her for the commercialization of Valentine's Day.
No, she's a contributing factor, but she's not the root cause of it.
I'm still going to blame her.
Okay. Sounds like a guy thing to do, but cool.
It's actually the chocolate corporations.
The candy companies.
That's not true. I don't know, but yeah.
It's a conspiracy.
Willy Wonka.
All right, so maybe anyone like to share favorite Valentine's traditions or things like you like to participate in?
Do any of us hate Valentine's Day?
No.
Anybody a hater?
Hate is a strong word.
I'm pretty neutral on it. I've never done anything significant for it. And then I decided to date somebody who really, really loves it. So yeah, that's
Cute. But nobody's a hater.
Nobody's a hater.
Do you want someone to be a hater?
No, I'm just curious because some people are haters. You're not. No,
if
so
you want
stop.
me to, I'll do it. I love you so much.
Nobody
entirely.
Nobody wants you to be a hater about. Are you a hater, Harley?
No, I love Valentine's.
Okay.
Like, also in the most platonic way. Like, I love friendship.
Yes.
Valentine's. It's my favorite.
Galentines or Palentines.
Yeah, Palentines.
That's what I'm doing this weekend. Where's the silence? What the hell?
Tim's getting freaky.
But anyway, Tim, I got this friend up here.
All right, I'll be the next plane up, bub. So anyone share traditions, or what are we doing here?
I don't have any like current traditions. I just like to spend time with people that I love. I used to love, I don't do it as much anymore. Doing like Valentine's, even just like a little card for like a friend, just being like, I love you. I'm so happy you're in my life, kind of thing. I really loved doing Valentine's in elementary school. Like, I remember making our own little mailboxes, and we were allowed to like,
great.
yes, yes, I loved it, and I think that's where my like love of like friendship,
Snail mail,
Valentine's comes from, and like just being able to like give all my friends a Valentine's little thing.
Oh,
Is that phileo love?
Yeah. Jeebus.
Yeah, I like to, like, with my kids, like, Chris just loves food, so, like, I'll give him one of his favorite snacks, but also, like, go to the park or something like that, and he's a happy boy. And then Arya, I like to get the whole deal for, give her some treats, and then take her out somewhere. She likes to eat, too. They both like food.
Is she a flower girly?
Yes,
Good
very much
know.
so. The whole shebang.
I can't talk about my favorite traditions on the pod.
Ew, stop.
Christopher.
Because I don't
Be
have any. You guys are
cool.
gross. I just like spending time with people. Family, friends, doesn't matter.
No, you did.
Yeah, I do.
I love Valentine's Day. I
Yeah,
feel
she
like
does.
I'm really good at.
Chris, we said this earlier. People don't shut up enough anymore.
You should start. Start now, actually.
I'll practice.
I love Valentine's Day. I like all of the parts and girly shit, and I love making little gift baskets for people. And
Aw.
I have a limited budget, so I try. I have to like mostly focus it on immediate family. So my kids and obviously Chris, so I can only talk about this so much. But like, yeah, getting them their favorite snacks, their favorite things to make their lives easier. Or depending on each kid, because each kid they have their personal like interests. And one of them likes way more expensive shit than the other. So most of his basket has to be like consumable. Because I can't. He's bougie. But the other one, she's 5, so she's happy with like.
I got her surprisingly bougie though
She
for a 5-year-old.
Yeah, you're right, but that's because we kind of made her that way.
You made her that way.
Yeah, but to say
We
5-year-old,
kinda-
that's your product of y'all.
Her life is very soft. But honestly, like one of the reasons we don't want more kids is because we like treating them the way like we want to provide them that.
Becomes more difficult the more kids you have.
Yes, for sure.
Which is the responsible thing to say.
Yeah. So I love like creating each kid their own little basket. And then like if somebody's dating someone, I'll make them a basket as well. So like Tyler has a girlfriend right now. So I made her a basket.
Cute.
Yeah. And I love it. Especially I make the guys their baskets and I make them towards their interest. But the girlies are just easier to buy for.
So my basket is probably green.
It's not.
Disappointing.
Speaking of guy baskets, you go to HEB, they have like 12 packs and like little candy inside.
I think that's so cute.
It's fun, yeah.
I feel like
I'd be totally down for that.
I feel like I would be really, really good at creating those kind of baskets. I'd put like mosquito repellent in there and some shit. And they would love it.
Yeah.
That's not what's
Oh
in
my
your
god!
basket.
Just get him one of those like mosquito like electrical bug
Whoa,
whappers.
that would go really far with Chris, actually.
Seriously. He has one.
Yeah.
Like some poopery and beef jerky. Call it a day.
Call it a day.
Literally.
That sounds great.
The salt pistol.
No.
No.
You get me one of those and you're sleeping out in one of those sheds.
Oh.
Why would you get the
Don't
salt
play.
pistol when the salt shotgun is right there?
Don't play with me.
That's the same difference.
Don't.
No.
Look, it's the same.
Anyways.
Whatever.
I just love quality time at the very least.
I like
on
giving
Valentine's
people
Day.
gifts. I like the baskets, like gift baskets, or like I've been getting bags because the baskets, everything falls out. So, yeah. Snacks.
All right, males.
Yeah.
What is your POV of Valentine's Day?
Honestly, my favorite thing is giving Janelle a basket that I made for her. Because
Period.
she just, I've noticed with Janelle, and I might be ruining something here,
Watch
but
your mouth.
she likes the quantity of gifts. So if I go to Dollar Tree and I blow like $15 at Dollar Tree, she's just as happy as if I go buy her a $20,000 diamond ring. Actually, she's probably more happy with the $15
Yeah, don't
I
buy
spent
me
at Dollar
diamonds.
Tree. Like, so I can just piece together things that I know she likes, little cute things here and there, throw them in a basket, call it a day, and just get to see her whole world light up. And that's like my favorite thing.
He's fibbing, by the way. Never has he ever gone to Dollar Tree to make me a basket. It's usually...
That's not true.
Okay, I'm saying this in a complimentary way.
I have fluffed up your baskets with Dollar Tree things.
Okay, that's true. But truthfully, it's usually not Dollar Tree. It's
Chris, when I
somewhere
imagine
else.
you with Valentine's, I think of those birds that create these little like festive like nest things to impress their potential mates and everything.
Yes.
And it's like little like they bring these trinkets from everywhere and they just put them all around to kind of like their different colors and everything
That's
to like attract the mate. That's how I envision.
Have y'all
you
ever
with
seen
Valentine's.
That potential mate? Bro, we made it.
Have y'all seen the Pebble and the Penguin?
We
like
made it before. We're gonna mate again.
What I was saying is that you usually get me like really good quality stuff.
I do. Yeah.
It's not Dollar Tree.
You get that
like
quality
I love
Pebble.
Dollar Tree. He does.
It's a $2 Pebble.
The good little flowers.
I get it from that one aisle in Dollar Tree where everything is like $3 to $10.
It's not true.
That's good stuff.
In the $5 aisle.
I have pictures to prove it. Like he gets me like my favorite wine and like beautiful flowers. Everything is like good quality.
The name brand. Get the
Period.
That's funny.
Is it like genuinely from a guy's perspective is like, how do you in general view Valentine's Day?
Let me explain to you, Harley.
Chris, I think you should wait a second. You've been talking a lot here on this issue.
Let me explain to Harley something first. I would barely consider my point of view the male point of view. So I am not the person to ask. That's all I was going to say.
He said, let me talk some and then I'll shut the fuck up. But let me talk some first.
Can I talk my shit again?
Let me get this out real quick. I feel like I'm the stereotypical Ted Mosby of it all. I like to make a big show out of things, and so for whenever that may happen again, that's my go-to. I enjoy doing things for people and showing that I care by doing whatever that person enjoys. And so if it's a super date or whatever else, like I enjoy doing that. So to me, it's not, if that person enjoys just going out to a sports game, then great. I'm going to make the best sports experience ever. If they enjoy fine dining, then I'm going to make this the best fucking fine dining event ever. Like, or I'll make the food or something along those lines. By me making, I'm going to go to Janelle for help, but like, you know what I mean? Like I'm going to go out of my way to do something that's outside of my comfort zone and to go above and beyond what I'm usually capable of. But I find pleasure in doing that.
But it's never been like corny to you.
I don't know about corny. No. I think if you care about the person enough, then it's not. It's like your kids, like, you know, letting them paint your nails or do whatever else. Like it's not a evil thing or like a uncomfortable thing. It's just like, it may not be like your favorite thing, but like to me, I love it when my daughter wants to do crazy shit like that, because like I'm allowing her to be herself and allowing her to do what she wants, and so I find joy out of that.
Hot take: I think hating Valentine's Day is weird. It's corny. It's weird. Justin's being real quiet though.
For real.
Are you a hater?
I think
he already told you he's neutral on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah, I'm pretty neutral on it. I understand hating Valentine's Day when you've constantly had like societal pressure to like do all of these things and spend money, and then you're living in an environment where you're being compared to people who do these elaborate things, and you're just like, I just want to chill. Like, I totally understand the hate from that perspective.
Sure.
But
I just have
go ahead.
generally mostly dated people who have not cared about it. And honestly, my current partner is the first person who's really cared about it since high school, which was a lot of years ago.
I will say, though, in respect and a perspective for women, then I do feel like as I have experienced more men, and I don't think this is a surprise to anyone, I think a lot of men just don't give any effort throughout the year, and so there's an expectation that Valentine's is like the one day that you at least need to show some effort. And so I think there's a reasonable expectation that, hey, put some kind of effort into something to show that you care about me. And I think a lot of times men just don't, and so there's that. And I'm saying that as a person who acknowledges that that is true. Like, I think a lot of guys don't show a lot of effort throughout the year, or especially on Valentine's. And so there's this expectation that, hey, you should try at least something here. And then men take that as, or I say a lot of men will take that as, oh, well, it's just a holiday or whatever. Like, you just want this because corporate or whatever capitalism. And it's just like, no, just.
And then they pretend to care about capitalism.
It's because you don't show that you care for me throughout the rest of the year. Like, that's usually what it comes down to. And so.
I will say, like, we don't, going out on Valentine's Day is my personal hell. Like, I don't want to do that. But we get takeout and we just hang out at home. And that's preferred. But
we'll watch a rom-com, like The Proposal.
Actually, that's true. Or a shark
movie.
What a range.
Yeah.
It's not that bad if you think about it.
But I don't feel like in our relationship I'm struggling to get you to like show me that you care about me. So
and that's the difference, though. That's what I'm saying.
I think I do a pretty good job of that.
Like, I want,
truthfully,
for Valentine's Day, I'm just like, takeout would be really nice because I really do. I cook most of our meals Monday through Friday, and then when I'm working, they have leftovers, which are still homemade. So like, I'm doing all the cooking, which is fine. And I choose to. But like, yeah, a night of takeout and like some gift baskets that we all get to share and exchange. That's like my idea of a holiday.
Yeah. Yeah, if the person is not showing you that they care throughout the year, there's an expectation that, okay, this should be the day that you do, and then a lot of times they don't even then. So that's where I kind of view it as. And so do better, men.
No.
Not you. You're pretty good.
No, I feel like they should just keep on that level so that I look better by comparison.
I mean, that's what I'm hoping for in my case.
And also, no woman needs a man.
No, absolutely. But they should have someone who cares and has a genuine affection for them. Like,
women will do that better.
Well, sure.
I really
heard it from Chris. Be gay. I said you've heard it from Chris first. Be gay.
Literally.
Be gay, do crime.
Literally. I support that. I really lean into like the fun.
Yeah, right, Harley?
Harley's dying over here.
Oh, I almost shot my wine
gay,
out of my nose.
Do crime.
Be gay, do crime.
I forgot about that saying. It's so good.
We say that to Tyler every time he leaves the house. I really lean into the fun of Valentine's Day. Like, I love the cards. I love just the idea of like heart-shaped pink and red and white shit everywhere. It's so cute and it's fun. And honestly, I've decided to like incorporate Halloween and Valentine's Day
for that text.
into like our seasonal decor. I'm like, Halloweester. Yeah, that's great.
Halloween.
Let's do it.
The 4th of July.
I don't even celebrate the 4th of July, but yeah, like everything. I think it's cute. Halloween and Valentine's Day. It should be all year round. The two major holidays, in my opinion.
Yeah. Did we answer your question, Harley?
Yes.
Cool.
C.
Well, any other thoughts about that? Or, I mean, I guess we're towards the end of our show. Any final thoughts, I guess, about anything, about Black History Month, about the halftime show, about Valentine's Day?
I have a lot of thoughts about a lot of things.
Well, this is a final thought, so it's meant to be short.
Celebrate whatever you want. Don't let the government tell you what to celebrate, and don't let the government tell you how to celebrate.
Don't celebrate Nazis.
Yeah, not that.
Actually,
No.
bring back bullying in that aspect specifically.
I was going to say, actually, if you feel like celebrating Nazis, go ahead. Fucking do it. I dare you.
Publicly record yourself.
Please, yeah.
I watched a video.
Drop your location.
I watched a video of some people in Ohio wanting to fight some Nazis, and
Yep.
the cops are holding
And
back.
they did.
And the guy's like, cops like, it's not worth it. I was like, and here's the thing, you know
it
me,
is.
I don't sympathize with cops very often, but I sympathize with the guy because he was just like, if you hit this guy, I got to arrest you. He's like, it's not worth it. And the guy was like, it is. And I'm like, you know what?
I think it is.
I do it. Because you know what? Because you know what would happen? That guy wouldn't press charges. Because then his identity would be out there and everybody would know he was protesting as a Nazi, waving a giant black and red swastika flag.
Hey, this is a great time to watch Inglourious Bastards right now. That's all I got to say.
We're going to this
Yeah,
weekend. Saturday, Scooby-Doo sandwiches.
And Inglourious Bastards?
Yes.
Let's fucking do it.
I think on my I Hate It Here playlist, I think I have 4 different songs titled
soundtrack?
Punch a
From the
Nazi. No, Punch a Nazi.
Oh.
The title of the song is Punch a Nazi. But a lot of that music is on that playlist as well.
If you get the ingredients, I will make them.
Send it to me. I'm going shopping tomorrow.
Oh, make
Scooby-Doo
sure
sandwiches.
you get cans of soup for my family.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing Saturday.
Speaking of punching Nazis, Chris, I got a shirt I'm going to send you. Like,
Please
not
do.
actual physically shirt, but like
A picture of a shirt.
in a store that you can buy if you want about punching Nazis.
Are you bucking up at my cat?
She started it.
She usually does. Milo.
Any other final thoughts, Harley, Justin?
Like Chris said, there are many thoughts,
So many.
but most importantly, learn your history and respect Black people. Oh, and love everyone,
Everybody love everybody.
Yes.
except for people who are terrible.
Yes.
Then fight them. I give you permission.
You heard her. Harley gave me permission to fight
Harley.
Nazis.
Real quick. I don't need to hear that from Harley. We agree. I saw a TikTok that was like, what radicalized you? And it was VeggieTales.
VeggieTales, yeah.
I can be your friend.
I can
And
be
I
your
want to
friend.
remind-
La, la, la.
I had to this might be a little longer, but I had to remind my daughter today that being someone's friend means when someone is being mean to them, to stand up and yell at them.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one hits me. No one hits my friends.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah,
That's
Arya
it.
got into a thing with someone last year for doing that. Like, she stood up for a friend and she got scratched, and it was oof. I was like, kid, I'm fucking proud of you. You keep doing that shit.
Yes.
Like, yeah. Like, kid, I told her, like, straight up, if it's a dude, kick him. And I want you to aim right here. And so I was like, do it, please. My full permission.
In that same vein of like the what radicalized you, I saw somebody like comment and they were like, empathy?
Literally.
Yeah, what do you mean
Bible?
radicalized?
Jesus?
Well,
What do you mean radicalized?
We're already seeing though, like young kids being afraid to tell on people because they're being taught about like tattletaling and everything. And so I had to reteach her, like, no, that person is hitting someone. Get up and make a scene.
Yeah.
Throw a fit. I'm telling you, when you see someone being hurt, get up, make a scene, yell, scream. Don't let that happen. And she's 5.
See, gotta tell them snitches get stitches, but it ain't snitching in that situation.
Exactly.
If someone is hurting somebody, you ain't
Exactly.
snitching.
I thought you were going to have a rhyme with that.
Exactly.
No.
It ain't snitching.
It's like if you see someone stealing groceries, no, you don't.
Oh,
No, you didn't.
But
No, you
if someone
Thou shalt not steal if there is direct victim.
yes, but she's talking about her friend getting hit by another classmate that has been continuously he's constantly causing problems, and I have empathy for him because he's a child, but he's hitting her friends. I told her, get up, shout, scream, and let it all out.
I think your exact
mean?
words were, "That's why we put you in jujitsu."
Yeah, I heard that.
I didn't say that.
Well, that's great. I love that.
She's strong too. Anyways.
Yeah. My final parting words will be that similar to Harley is go love some people, go listen to people's stories, gain some empathy, and go a long way.
And maybe shut up sometimes.
And maybe shut up sometimes.
that's a
Amen.
good-
Go read a book.
good.
I'll work on it.
Touch grass.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you all again for listening to our podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, and leave a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Always More Pod. Chris, where can we find you?
I don't know, man.
It's like I haven't found myself.
I'm still lost. My TikTok is, give me a second, Christopher.Lionheart. It's been the same thing, and I just forget it. And my Insta is Captain_CT Ford. I'm also on Blue Sky now, but I don't know my username.
Yeah, that's a weird
I
one.
haven't done anything on it.
Same.
I set up an account, and that's it.
Yeah. Janelle, where we can find you?
I'm on Instagram at the Kitchen Witch.
2 E's.
2 E's.
Justin.
I am everywhere that matters as Justin's Theory. Technically, I still have a Twitter, X, whatever. Nope, it's Twitter. But I'm not there.
Twitter.
Yeah.
It's there for me to complain to customer service.
There you go. Harley.
I am on Instagram at WhatHarley, Harley, and on the Clock app at harleybean.co.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter and everything else at Timothy Lichty or on TikTok. And guys, thank you all again for listening, for being part of the conversation. And remember, there's always more than this. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.